Mine sveinar heime ved og gjøy med det gulleballe, de andre seks på Heidingland og gjøy med det Jan I Kalle. Vi er det ut av Franklandet med dyre.
All right, everybody, welcome back. My name's Bo from Blades and Blasters, and I'm here with three good friends. We're going to restart our Paladin Warriors of Charlemagne campaign tonight in the year 778, which would be the last year of the kind of first phase of the Paladin RPG, kind of as written. Tonight we have Samson of Verdun, played by Mr. Walter Peck. We have Renier Legree, played by Tet, and last but not least, William of Ardon, played by none other but Sim, who is making his return to this campaign after a most unfortunate absence. And as we get started, we're going to go ahead and kick it off. All right, let's see here. Let's find my... Can you guys all see that slide there?
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's been a while since I used Roll20. You can't see it?
My screen is all black.
I think just
Yeah, I'll just give you sight on somebody here real
just
quick.
oh yeah,
Name?
Yeah, I'll just...
shift ping is what you should do to drag everybody over there.
Can you see, Sim?
Negative.
Just can you
there we
can
go.
you
Now I
zoom all
can
the
see
way
it
out?
now.
Now we're
I
good?
can see our
There we are.
horsies.
Can see what?
I see our horsies.
About you? Sim?
I can see.
Good. All right, here we go. Introduction.
Is that a semi-truck?
There we go. Welcome back, friends. Welcome back. In the late spring of 778, a caravan of noblemen and their retinues, Samson de Verdun and Renier Legree, the new Duke of Spoleto among them, journeyed across the Alps. The procession was not merely a movement of people, it was a vibrant tapestry of medieval society with knights in gleaming armor, clerics in their robes, and a multitude of attendants, each playing their vital role in this mobile microcosm of Charlemagne's dominion. The crossing of the Alps was a challenge, undertaken with a mixture of reverence and trepidation, yet guided by seasoned mountaineers and driven by a sense of divine mission. The caravan wound its way through narrow passes and over icy streams. The air, crisp and invigorating, was filled with the sounds of clinking armor, neighing horses, and the occasional call of a distant eagle. A stark contrast to the usual silence that enveloped these majestic mountains. In the train's number was royalty. First, Caedawalla, former king of Wessex, traveled on horseback when the going was easy, but due to his illness was borne in a litter more often than not. His destination, Rome. His goal, baptism and death. For he was old and consumed by an illness that seemed to be leaving him weaker by the day. But perhaps most importantly was a young boy, previously known as Carloman, named after King Charles, aka Charlemagne's late brother. Charlemagne has since dubbed him Pepin after his grandfather and promised him dominion of Lombardy. Upon descending into the plains of the same name, the caravan made its way through Pavia, a city that had felt the full force of Charlemagne's ambition and military might. You guys probably remember Pavia in that siege, right?
Oh yeah.
Pavia's streets now bore witness to the peaceful procession of his emissaries and nobles. The city, a blend of Roman legacy and northern Italian influence, offered a momentary respite to the travelers. Here, amidst the ancient stone buildings and bustling marketplaces, they replenished their supplies, tended to their mounts, and engaged with local dignitaries, sharing news that bridged the distant parts of Charlemagne's realm. It was to Pavia that Pepin would eventually return after himself also being baptized in Rome. The journey then continued southward into the verdant landscapes of Tuscany. This leg of the voyage presented a stark contrast to the harsh Alps crossing. Tuscany welcomed the caravan with rolling hills covered with vineyards and olive groves. The air was perfumed with the scent of flowers. The nobles and their retinues marveled at the beauty of the Tuscan countryside. No Tuscan raiders, no. With its fortified towns perched atop hills and fertile valleys offering abundant provisions, the pace of travel slowed, allowing for a deeper appreciation of the land and its people. In Tuscany, the caravan encountered a world that seemed to be in harmony with the rhythm of nature and legacy of ancient civilizations. I'll let you guys take it away as you descend from the Alps, go through Pavia, and enter the fertile valley of Tuscany and kind of middle of Italy. Why don't you guys take it away?
Go ahead, Samson.
Samson led a fairly large entourage on their trip to Italy. Of course, he was with King Caedawalla of Wessex. He had brought his wife and sister to Caedawalla, Ceolfrith, along with the children that could travel. His bastards, Magnus, Red of Hair and Hale, the fraternal twins, Adalbern and Guntram, the youngest of the four bastards, Sigwald. His legitimate children, with his wife Ceolfrith, had stayed back as a long trip across the Alps was no place for babies. His son William, named after his deceased longtime friend Sir William. His the twin Aelswith, named after the daughter of King Caedawalla, and of course their third, the triplet Theodard, the miracle, since triplets were so rare in that time, and a lady to survive birth of triplets was something to be very thankful for. A blessed child, of course. And with him was his entourage, as always. His steward Joseph the Jew, his engineer Harold of Arlone, his spy Morellus, and of course Chaplain Santino, one of the most unusual chaplains you'd seen, not well versed in the Bible, but always leading prayer and hymn before the eve of battle. He was happy to be on this trip. It was unusual company to be in, that the son of a king, or soon-to-be Emperor Charlemagne, and the aforementioned King Caedawalla. His head is held high. He feels good about this trip, and good to go with his friend Renier, the now Duke, as he was never one to shy away from a feast and a good time. Unfortunately, the King Caedawalla seemed to be getting more ill by the day, but he would try to not let that dampen his spirit.
Rene Legree rides next to his friend Samson of Verdun these many years and their exploits across Europe, all the way from the British Isle to Rome itself coming up. And he had met the caravan from the north from his holdings in Spoleto, riding out to meet this great pilgrimage south. He himself has brought none of his children, as he typically does not bring them along on long trips or trips that might endanger them. His wife also has remained at home to watch his children and help to manage his lands while he is gone. He is aging now in his 30th year with a speck of gray in his short cropped hair and his tightly trimmed Van Dyke mustache and goatee. He wears his finest tunic and clothing and rides his finest horse, things that have been afforded to him as the Duke of Spoleto in northern Italy. He looks across the verdant plains and the beautiful green scenery and says, This land does suit me very well, Samson. It is less cold in my bones than north of the Alps in our homeland.
Oh, that is true, but while it is nice to visit, does it make you stronger? Does the cold winter make you harder, ready for any challenge that King Charlemagne puts before us?
Perhaps it does. Perhaps it did. But I am no young man, and you are going to catch me one day, perhaps.
Someday I might, but today is not that day. I still have a few years before I consider retiring to an abbey or monastery to live out my last days.
I do not think the monastery is for me, my friend.
Yes, as a duke, I am sure you will rule for a great many years, wise beyond your age, as I'm sure one learns from their mistakes, and you've made oh so many over the years.
I'm still here. I could not have made so many. There are so many more that have perished before us, but we remain. It is good to have strong friends and wonderful allies, is it not?
Indeed, I am very lucky to say I can call a duke a personal friend, as well as someone who I would entrust my children to in the event I fell in battle in the service of our Lord and King.
Of course. That is all you would need to say. Everyone can, well, I have been thinking, yes, perhaps there is a county you wish to take in my duchy. I would not think anything wrong of you moving south, as I have. You may, of course, keep your holdings in the north.
Perhaps I would be honored, of course, to serve here in Italy, but, and he kind of turns and looks down at his children, maybe riding on smaller ponies or in a wagon of some kind. As my children grow older, they will want to strike out on their own, or I am no fool. I know what lies in the heart of men, and greed and jealousy can grow strong. They are bastards, and unless recognized by the king, they will have to strike it out on their own. I look further east of Arlon into Bavaria and beyond. I know King Charlemagne has his eyes on that, and they will need strong Frankish knights to rule the area in time. Perhaps my 4 children with Lady Susanna of the Fields will be able to form their own little fiefdom there and serve our king.
Well, if it is your wish and you need someone to send one of your children to squire for, or even as a page, my home and my own services, I would be happy to take them under my wing.
I would be most honored, of course, my friend. I think Magnus is almost of the age to begin a page, the life as a page before becoming a squire, while he turns 8 this year, I believe. He is near the time that he needs to leave home and learn what it's like the duties of knighthood, and I would be honored if you would consider keeping him.
Of course, I can teach him the real knightly virtues.
He kind of raises an eyebrow. He's like, virtue? Sometimes that is not a word that means what you think it means.
Perhaps I will teach him as best I can, and perhaps he will learn from the Knight of Spoleto and my war masters, of course. I would do right by your child, do not worry.
I know you would. I like to give you a hard time to time from some of your more horizontal choices, shall we say, but I know I can count on a duke to see my son trained in both the art of war and the art of reading and writing, and I'm sure even a song or two.
Yes. Bo, what year is it again?
It is the late spring of 778 by this time.
Yeah. So, I do have another thought. I have 3 daughters from Eliza, who rest her soul, and they are bastards as well. Perhaps we should join our families. When the time is right, of course.
Of course, it is a long time off for them, but who am I to say no to a duke, huh?
Yes, I know I am quite the high status one now, somehow, some way. Don't worry about that. Simply wish our blood to be tied together in a way that makes sense. They are all near the same age, and it will keep us close.
Indeed, for years to come and generations.
And he nods and just continues to ride, and kind of thinks that idly that he wished William was there too, so they could probably make fun of him for still not marrying Gislinda, and kind of gets a chuckle to himself about it, and grows a little morose thinking about it, but yeah.
As you exit Pavia and continue to make your way south, the late spring and early summer air starts to warm, and there's fragrant flowers. You can pass terraces of cascading vineyards on your left and right as you enter into a river valley and cross the River Po. Continuing south, you know that your next landmark is going to be the River Arno, which flows just south of the new up-and-coming city of Florence, which is a mere shadow of what it would be in the Renaissance, but now is just starting to become a hub of trade and culture along the River Arno. But for right now, the camera pans up from that long train going south from the Alps all the way down to Rome. And we're going to backtrack a little bit. We're going to backtrack before Winter Court of 777, and we're going to find ourselves along the banks of the Rhine River, up near Saxony, where those savages dwell in their deep, dark forests, doing the things that are certainly unmentionable and certainly not approved by the Lord God and Jesus Christ. And we're going to find ourselves up there near that deep, dark forest. But it happens to be a bright and sunny day. Let's see here. Zypher, I'm going to grab you a token. All right, William, can you see this here?
Yep.
And let me go grab old Elfric off. Zypher, you around?
Yep.
All right. Here's Alfric, your character. Do a little cutscene, and then we'll open up the role play. Very momentous occasion here, rejoining one of our favorite characters from the previous campaign. The Bishop and the Slave. There we go. But now we travel in time. We find ourselves along the shores of the Rhine River near Cologne. It is summer, and the year is 777. Winter court in Poitiers has not yet happened. The delegation returning from Spain to Charlemagne, bearing the severed heads of his emissaries, is still en route. The storm is gathering. The clouds have not yet burst. Yet, there is magic afoot. Alfric stands on the western shore of the river. The smell of salt is heavy in the air, and he is doing business, so it seems, with a tall, broad Saxon man. Al is the bishop, I want to say. Or Zypher, do you have a name for your bishop? I think I got his name mixed up.
Let's just keep him the bishop for now.
Keep him the
Adds
bishop.
an
Okay.
air of mystery.
Okay, the bishop. Named Alfric. Alfric has found God, or rather God has found him and made him very rich. Adorned in gaudy jewelry that wouldn't pass muster in Rome or Aachen, Alfric pays homage to his new lord with gifts. After all, the best he can hope for is that he and his people be left in peace, and so gifts to God, and the Pope for that matter, are to be expected. Our people have far too long warred against one another, says Alfric. Blood and treasure, treasure and blood, yes, much has been lost in vain, but now, alas, we see that your God is our God. He deigns to kneel, but then thinks better of it. And we show contrition. He pauses. A servant hands Alfric a mug of something slightly foamy. He drinks deeply and then wipes his beard. As a show of good faith, please take these slaves. They will serve you well. Alfric turns to a dirty man who may look, feel, and think like a shadow of his former self. His eyes are sunken and red. He is thin, but sinewy muscle still clings to his body. Oddly, the man is armed with a small round shield and a sword. I call this one Iron Skull, Alfric says. His men laugh. Iron Skull may grip the notched sword that hangs at his belt. Alfric continues. He came to us nigh a year ago, after an ill-favored raid against our brothers who had converted to your religion. He does not say much, but when he does, it is with wisdom. He pauses and looks at William, for that is his name. There is more to this Frankish man with a cloven skull than meets the eye. Take him! He is yours, along with the other slaves. They fight well, and have been taught loyalty. They will be needed on your journey to the faraway land you call Rome. Take it away.
The bishop looks at Alfric and then looks at the slaves he's pointing to. These lot seem to have gone through quite a bit. Are you sure they can protect my caravan?
Protect your caravan? Yes, some of them can fight with sword and shield. This one here, Cloven Skull, some call him. He even seems to recognize the written speech of your people, although he saith not how he knows. Perhaps some devilry is afoot. If that be the case, you will surely drive the demons from him.
Indeed. And then Alfric, the bishop turns to look at the slaves and looks at the one they call the skull, Iron Crusher, Iron Skull, is what you said?
Iron Skull, Cloven Skull, many names have this captain. This Frankish captive goes by many names among the Saxons.
And the bishop makes the sign of our Lord, and he says, repent then and turn to God, so that your sins may be wiped out, that times of refreshing may come from the Lord unto you. Follow me and you will do well. Go against me, and you will suffer not just this world, but 7 worlds to come after. What say you? Do you have a name? A better name? A God-given name?
William, still feeling, lost from when he got struck in the face with an axe. I do believe I do. Perhaps it'll come to me. I just go by whatever name they call me now. The same as I will do for you, my grace. Kind of give him a little nod of the head.
And as the bishop is given these slaves, he and his clergy perhaps hire some attendants as they sail upstream, quote unquote, down the Rhine, making their way ever so slowly over the course of the summer of 77 down to Rome. While they may take a different journey to the Alps, they likely will use one of the same couple passes that everybody needs to use back in these days. And probably 6 months, 7 months, 8 months before Samson and Renier make their way through Pavia and Tuscany, the bishop and William of Ardon, they do the same as well. And eventually they do make their way to Rome. And they pass the winter of 777 and early 78 in the company of the clergy and the Pope himself. Tell me what happened since then, Mr. Bishop and William.
William, during the travels, and of course, once they arrived, would have did his best to continue keeping his comrades sharp in arms, his fellow slaves, of course. Speaking to him in Saxon and Frankish alike, to kind of, since it's the language he's comfortable with, but he also learned some of their devil speak. But knowing that, the villagers that found him, the Saxons that found him, were Christians in the first place, he was able to be familiar with everything, and able to maintain his faith in the Lord somewhat. And with the slaves that fought with him and stuff, he tried to teach him as well, so it wouldn't, to try to bring some over. But with everybody converting and the slaves following suit, William definitely would have helped them along the way with some of their, because he's not being a very religious man, but having faith in God would highlight some of the highlights of the religion, while keeping their sword sharp as well.
The bishop leads daily sermons, preaching the word of God onto these heathens. He is determined that by the time they reach their destination, they will be devout in their faith, or they will repent at his hands. Along the way, he, whenever they come across villages and small towns, he will hold sermon there, and whatever, the people who attend his sermon, the offering basket will be passed around, and he'll make sure that people do offer to the church. And he'll use that money to make sure that they can keep in their journey, because after all, he is doing God's work. He'll not keep the money for himself, but he'll use it towards his journey.
All right, Mr. Bishop. Let's do an off-the-cuff roll for you. We haven't created a character yet. We'll reserve that for next session, but we'll just do an off-the-cuff roll. So once you roll a D10 plus 10.
Okay. D10
Just roll a D10 plus 10, and this is going to be your love god.
Uh-oh.
Passion.
Well,
Not great. And now roll me a D20. Now what you want to get is under it.
under the 12? Okay.
Mhm.
Come on.
Yeah.
So that just so next time when after you create your character, just remember to place a check mark in the love god section. And I want you to tell me how what you did during this winter and early spring in Rome to increase your standing in Pope Hadrian's eyes and perhaps raise a bunch of money. And William, I want you to react how that might start to kindle a bit of fire and recollection in you. And perhaps the two of you could form a friendship of sorts. Please proceed.
Wait, say that again? You want me to do what now?
Describe it. Ching ching.
Describe it?
Hang on, I'll be right back.
I'll be right back. Wait, so you want me to roleplay what I did in Rome? Or do you want me to kind of relay that as a story to William?
Yeah. What you did in Rome, and then William, I would like you to kind of react to, the bishop raising his standing in Pope Hadrian's eyes, and so that what that role would reflect narratively, Zypher, is in what you just role played, like you being extremely successful in doing that and gaining some status. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, but just to make sure we are still along in the journey, right? We have not yet reached Rome, or have we reached
in Rome? You guys are in Rome.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so as soon as when the bishop gets to Rome, he is important enough to have a small place of his own. He takes his caravan there and have them set up their tents. He will have all the slaves wash themselves up and be prepared for presentation. He will take particular interest in William, though he doesn't know his name just yet. And through the journey, the bishop has been calling William by the name John. And eventually they make their way to the papal palace. Once he gets there, he has his slaves bring large chests of coins. This is the coin that the bishop has collected along the journey, wherever he held sermon and extolled the virtue of God. Wherever he went, he tried to soothe the difficult lives people led. He told them God would be on their side, that God would take care of them. They just had to have faith and believe that he would be by their side, believe that the crops would grow and the rain would fall and the river would make its way to them. And so the coffers were full. The bishop is quite vociferous when it comes to preaching the word of God. And so when he gets to the papal palace and he deposits these large chests of coin, he makes it a point to say that this is in the name of our Lord against the heathens and the heretics that wish to depose him. It is in the name of Pope Hadrian, who preaches the love of our God all across these lands. And it's to help kings and dukes maintain law and order in the name of Christ.
Yeah, when they, once the travel's done and they are presentable and they go to present the large treasure to the Pope, William would make sure that the warrior slaves were cleaned up and presentable, but also looking their best with their leather and chain armor and everything as much as possible. William knowing that sometimes presentation is key to certain things, and and so he's unfamiliar with his, a lot of his previous life. Some of it is shining through, and of course, William, being as martial as he is, would also hear the runnings around of the duchies to the south that aim to take the papal land from the Pope, and of course, he would approach the bishop and offer any of his expertise that he could offer, because knowing that the defense of the realm would help the bishop shine, right? And the enemies of Rome haven't fought Saxons as much, so they would be they would have an advantage.
Fantastic. Anything else?
Did Sim get his memory back, or do I need to hold a sermon for him to achieve that?
But he like I said, he's got bits and pieces. The fighting comes naturally. Right.
I want the tale recounted at some point, but perhaps your character doesn't know yet.
But yeah, he would approach the bishop and, my grace, I do hear rumors of a possible invasion from the south. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed.
I do like to offer some guidance, if you would accept it, my grace. We are warriors. We would be happy to defend the realm in your name at any point that you would need to. We would be more than happy to oblige. War is kind of something we have known for the year. It's in our blood.
I serve in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. John, if his service requires that I go to foreign lands and fight the heretics, then I shall. You say you are well versed in the art of battle, then I shall need you by my side. After all, I have to preach the word of God to these heathens. It's easier to preach when they're on their knees. What better to get them on their knees than an army by my side?
Here and then William would smile. That is correct. I do think that we should be very successful in the endeavor. I trust these men. I fought alongside them, foot by foot, shield by shield. We will be ready when needed.
Very well. I shall make sure that weapons, armor, whatever you need for your army is available to you. I am in good standing with the Pope and the Archbishop Theodulf. I shall get what you need.
Excellent. But of course, some fresh armor would be nice, and weapons, of course. These are kind of pitted, but they're useful. I think that is all we ask, except for sermons, of course. The Word of God emboldens them, which is very nice. You have been very kind to us, a lot better than the other host until they converted. If they converted. I do have respect for them. They handle things as they comes. And right now the tides have changed for them in the north. But here these men, they shall be faithful.
God is kind, John. I am but a servant of God. And if I'm a true servant of God, then I must be kind as well. But I only am kind to the faithful, as you are yourself. The heretics, they shall know my wrath. They shall know your wrath. They shall know our God, Jesus Christ, his wrath. The unbelievers will be pushed from these lands. They will find no purchase here.
Indeed. A smile. And perhaps maybe it might be the region, but for them to see the Pope, it might it kind of would be the seeing the face of the king to them.
Ah, that is a good point. I will see what I can do at the next Pope's sermon. I will see if your men can find a good place, a good vantage point upon which to look on him and receive his blessings.
I should pass it along that you will try. They will be very happy with that.
God will provide.
Is there anything else I could be of service to you, my grace, before I retire to the men?
Not at this moment. I must go and pray and find guidance.
Did you, go ahead.
Oh, then I shall take my leave.
Could you
Be
guys
well,
both
John.
roll me a recognize?
Recognize!
So for you, Zypher, just roll a 2d20.
Oh shit, 2d20. Here we go.
And the first one's your skill, the second one's the roll, so that's a success. So also remember to put a check mark next to recognize. And Sim.
He failed badly.
Roll under.
That's a
How'd I
fumble.
feel? That's a fumble?
No, it's a 20. 20 is a
Mine's a
fumble.
fumble there, guys. It's roll under.
Yeah.
Well, which one? Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out which one's which, I guess.
Yeah, one's just a 1. Yeah, he has to get under a 12 or under. So both of you guys recognize William or John. You just probably have picked this up from your time in the Vatican. One of the archbishops is kind of walking down the hallway, and both of you recognize him and likely do the appropriate signs and signals of reverence. And Archbishop Theodulf is his name, and he bows to you, Bishop, and says, "Well met, Bishop. Word on these hallowed grounds is that you have been more than successful in raising the tithes from the citizenry and converting the heathens of the Northlands. And I see even here you have civilized one of them, although, judging by his vicious visage, his blood likely mingles with the Franks."
Ah, my lord Archbishop, I am but just a simple servant, spreading the word of our God into far-off lands. It is with lords like yourself and Pope Hadrian, with your blessings, I am successful.
Yeah. With the blessing of God lighting our feet, how could any of us fail? Indeed. But alas, it was just you who I am looking for, and pardon me, I believe they call you John, but we may talk business here. Bishop, I assume he can be trusted?
Of course, my lord. He is, after all, the captain of my guard.
Indeed. Yes. I have seen you training in the courtyard from time to time. Young John, you have some skill with the sword. It is a good thing it's now put to use for the lovers of Jesus Christ and not your heathen kin in the north. And it is of that sort of thing that I request your expertise, Bishop. It seems that the Byzantines in the south mean to make allies with the Duke of Naples and Benevento. The Pope would like to inform King Charlemagne in the north that his assistance may indeed be requested. And your knowledge of the Northlands and the Frankish people, Bishop, have not gone without notice to Pope Hadrian. Here, please. You are now ordered to bring this missive north to Charlemagne himself or his emissaries. If you leave now, you may cross the Alps before the end of summer. I urge haste. And he hands you a sealed envelope that carries with it the seal of Pope Hadrian.
The bishop
Deliver
takes the envelope with both hands and bows his head.
Deliver this to one of the emissaries of King Charlemagne and do not fail.
I shall not fail, my lord. God is on our side. God will keep us swift will reach us our destination without any peril. When I submit myself to God, I can resist the devil, and that the devil will flee from me and my people.
Anything else from John?
Yeah, John, of course, would remain silent. This is not his place to speak on matters. But he would, of course, once the envelope's got, he would nod and look up at him, at the bishop. Your liege, our men are ready to move whenever you're ready.
Very well then. Let us make our way to the north and find the emissaries of Charlemagne. Byzantines cannot be allowed to step on our land and stay here for too long.
As you'd wish. I would prepare him. And he'll look at the Archbishop, of course, and give him a, recognizing his authority, would give him a proper, I don't know what to call it, goodbye there. I can't remember. I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
Happy ending.
Ciao, bail. Give him a little kneel, like a nod, and back his way out. Right. Proper salute, I should say.
Indeed, indeed. So as that scene ends, we kind of pan up and kind of it fades away, and we go forward in time a few weeks, and we find ourselves just south of Florence in Tuscany. And now it is, can everybody see this?
Yep.
Very good. And Samson and Renier and their retinues, along with King Caedawalla and Pepin, are all kind of mustering outside the gates of Florence, and you're about ready to head out on the last leg of your journey down to Rome. Let you role play for a minute before you're going to see something appear in the south.
Rene is a bit saddle weary. He's not as well-traveled as Samson these days, at least, being only traveling from Spoleto here, whereas Samson traveled all the way across the Alps. He complains about this. Me asked, it's quite sore. I have not been in the saddle as much as I should, perhaps. I'll be getting fat before I know it.
This is what I said to you, no? About becoming a duke and resting on your laurels and becoming soft, a little soft around the edges now that you are in Italy where it is nice and warm?
Perhaps. I'm sure there will be someone to kill before long.
There always is. At least when we are fighting now, when our blood run hot with the battle lust of fighting in our Lord's name, at least we will not be frigid soon after when our tempers cool. He's kind of saying this as he's putting away maybe like a bearskin cloak or something that he used while he's traveling across the Alps and, kind of admitting to himself.
And the wine is much better here. I have a man. I am going in the vintner business, did you know? Hello?
Yeah?
I asked if
Yes.
if you knew I was going into the vintner business.
Oh, and I said, what is that? You're making wine now?
Well, I am not making it, but I am funding the making of it and the export.
I am sure it will be very popular, and Arlone and in Aachen.
Yes,
I will take
perhaps.
some.
Perhaps we could talk about a secure route through the north. Perhaps you could help secure it, and I could pay you some sort of royalty on the sale of the wine when it is there.
Oh, money, do not need coin, though I appreciate it. When I return to my castle Triarch, I will take as much as you would like me to take and gift it to the king. I'm sure he will find it good, and once word spreads that King Charlemagne loves it, I'm sure more than enough people will come to my castle looking to buy it, and I will return to you with coffers full of dinars to give you.
Well, it seems we have a arrangement. I will get the vintner on it right away. I can never remember his name. One of these Italian names.
They all sound alike, do they not?
Yes, they have a great many vowels at the end.
They are not hard, strong-sounding names like us Franks.
It is true. It is true. The women are more beautiful, though.
That is why I ended up with a wife from England?
I was meaning to ask you about that. Aren't these people from England the Saxons?
They are not. They are from Wessex. They are English. Britons.
I remember William telling me something about this.
It is hard to take the word of a man who does not know the touch of a woman.
This is true. This is true. How I miss him. He was good
good
to jape
man.
about these things.
But yes, if one does not know the gentle caress of a woman, how can he know the lineage of people?
Yeah, this is true. This is true. I would ask you, how is your son Theodard?
He is, sorry, I was thinking of his nickname. He is, doing well.
He's a little slow, but
Yes, he is,
you're cutting out.
oh, sorry, hold on. He is growing stronger by the day, and his mother is doing well, of course. Chaelfrith is, full of vigor and very excited to have 3 young ones running around the castle.
Is Chaelfrith's niece still at your castle?
Yes,
Or has
is.
she returned home yet?
I don't know, actually, Bo, is she with us? She should probably go with her dad to get baptized.
Oh yeah, is she with it? That's a good question.
Well, she probably would be, huh?
Yeah, she is with us, actually. I did not mention it to you. I figured you were busy with your wife and your
My wife is at
responsibilities as
home.
Duke.
My wife is at home, and her father being so ill. We did have some good discussions before. Perhaps I could set her mind at ease.
Samson, seeing this, kind of like gets close to him and like leans in. He goes, "Are you fucking stupid?
What do you mean?
Do not play with dumb with me. I know. The next time you are 10 feet, within 10 feet of her, I will have you drug away. You know exactly.
So
what
I am a
mean."
duke. You could not do such a thing.
Yes, and I am protecting a princess from men of ill repute who only see her as some sort of stock to breed with.
This is not true at all. You hurt me. You wound me, my friend.
Yes, I wound you. All
He
I
kind
do
of
is
laughs.
I bent over backwards to protect you. You'd remember that. Not just from Dreamwolf, but from people with much greater reach. Kings, even.
Well, kings that are about to die.
Yes, kings with sons, and sons who will remember, who are bending over their sisters in the hayloft.
It was not a hayloft. Come on, man. That was years ago.
Oh, yes, a much more dignified copulation creating a bastard that I now call my own.
I suppose you have created a few bastards yourself, my friend.
None with a princess, with one woman. Even when I was creating children out of Ledblock, it was still with one woman, not the harem that you have smattered about Europe.
I do remember a camp follower or two. You are not
did
all
not
so
have a
pious,
child.
my friend.
Did I say I was pious? I just said I did not have a child with more than 2 women.
That you know.
And let's be honest, Lady Rolinga, there was a very busty campfire. Would you not have been tempted, huh?
But I do have my standards, my friend. She was a bit ugly for me.
That is why the Lord invented the dog, huh?
That's about it for me.
And speaking of William and your japes towards him, you see on the southern horizon a little puff of dust. But first, can you guys both give me stewardship?
Okay.
I use my homie since he's with me.
Yep. You can use your homies. This is just for how your businesses are going.
Oh.
Let's go to entourage. 16. All right.
Crit.
You know it, baby.
Wow. I'm gonna roll
Why is
off
it
of my
so-
sheet,
it's
but
like
it's
white?
16. Yeah, I saw that too. It's on mine. Okay, we're there. It is stewardship. All right, I passed. It's a 16.
It's a 16. Okay.
Yeah. Joseph
so-
16.
So you both get a check in stewardship. Tet, why don't you go ahead and increase yours as well,
Nice. Okay.
or your old man, if however, effectively, just so it takes effect.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do mechanically with this is when we go to winter phase, we're going to look at like your income and stuff and increase a little bit. I haven't decided by how much, but both of you guys just make a note of it.
Do you want me to just check his or check both of ours?
Both of them.
Okay. He already had a check, it said. I don't know. The entourage sheet's kind of lame, but yeah.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
always get to roll to raise it at the winter phase.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then both of you guys give me awareness.
Pass.
Pass.
Oh, pass, yep.
Both of you guys get checks and awareness. I'm trying to give you guys some checks. You see a caravan slightly smaller than yours kind of heading towards you on the road. And William and Sir Bishop, that is your caravan. And I'll let you kind of role play as the camera kind of goes to the south. What looks like as you guys roll up onto Florence, but much to your surprise, there's like a small, not an army, but an entourage kind of heading your way. Oh, and both of you guys give me heraldry. There we go. Heraldry. So 2d20 there, Zypher, for you.
Oh, okay. As you're rolling, you'll see the coat of arms of my entourage is a red eagle on a black field. Many of the soldiers are in surcoats of checkered or quartered black and red.
I don't know what mine is. It's probably some sort of combination of Renee's and Elena Vietti's, since her family were the dukes beforehand.
Yeah, William served under that Red Eagle many a times.
So Bishop, as they get closer, first of all, you clearly in the front, Charlemagne's coat of arms is proudly displayed, and you see a really elderly looking guy, and on his left it looks to be a very well adorned boy sitting on a on a young horse. And then you recognize also, probably from all of your travels into Frankland and back, the coat of arms of Samson's house and Renier Legree's. And you would know, Bishop, that Renier has been named newly the Duke of Spoleto. And I'll let you guys role play how that meeting goes on the road.
Real quick for X, because I know he doesn't know a lot of the background. If there was one thing that an arch or a bishop would probably know about Samson, even though it happened a while ago, is he helped the squires in the Battle of the Squires. He carried the Oriflamme when the Lombards broke from the Saracens
Oh, yeah.
and their mercenaries. He helped rally and grab the Oriflamme and lead the charge to help save, I think it was Charlemagne, because he was surrounded.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We
considering
were
the-
squires at the time.
Yeah,
weren't
we were squires, and we were helping the Pope. So that would probably be within religious circles, something they would definitely be aware of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And for role play so far, I'm going to hand out some honor or some glory to William of Ardones. You get 10 glory. Everybody's going to get 10 glory here. The bishop, 10 glory. Samson, 10 glory. And Renee, none. JK. Please proceed.
As the bishop sees this caravan approach his caravan, he sees the heralds flying in the breeze that has been surrounding them, and he looks down to John and he says, "God has blessed our journey. So quickly we see emissaries from Charlemagne. There lies the hero of the Battle of the Squires. And is that not old man, the Duke of Spoleto? Do my eyes deceive me?"
The Duke of Spoleto, I have no knowledge of who that is, my grace.
Well, he is quite famous within the circles, the Papal Palace. And the young man to his right, that is Samson of Verdun, the hero of the Battle of the Squires.
William kind of squints. Is that a black and red eagle, huh?
And the bishop squints as well, and indeed it is. Yes, yes it is. That is how I know who they are.
That does seem familiar. Do you want me to have the men put on an impressive display?
No, that won't be necessary. We do not need to display our might, John. God does it for us. We are
yes.
but his humble servants.
Well, at any rate, it seems that we had to let them pass once we meet them. I'll order the men to walk off the road, so as to not impede them.
Indeed, indeed.
And William will address the men in Saxon and have them step off the road, and in an orderly fashion. Are we gonna wait for them to approach?
No, you and I shall approach them so that they know that we come in friendship.
Yes, my grace.
And then the bishop and John approach the bigger caravan on their horses.
There's probably maybe a few outriders or armsmen of Samson's entourage, and they come up and, "Hail! Before you is Prince Charlemagne, King Caedawalla, and the Duke of Spoleto. State who you are in your business."
I am the bishop, and this is my captain, John. We are headed out from Rome in search for Charlemagne's emissaries. The Byzantines are misbehaving and they must be put back in their place.
Is William wearing a helmet or anything?
He might be. I imagine we're traveling on the road, so for protection.
Yeah, the arms were like, emissaries of the Pope. We'll bring you to the Duke Renier, and Sir Samson. Here, come with us.
William would look at the bishop. Should I tell the men to wait?
Yes, please, John. Let them wait.
He, of course, would tell them in Saxon speak, in devil speak. Hold tight. The adults are going to go talk.
The bishop and John eventually get to where Renier and Samson are. Hail, Captain. Hail, Duke of Spoleto. I am the bishop, on the road from Rome seeking emissaries of Charlemagne. I know of your deeds and your valor. We are well met.
Is Pepin with us, Bo?
Yeah. He'll be shadowing along. He is clearly here to learn and has been taught much respect by his father. Although you certainly would probably have to defer to him if you would speak up.
Mm-hmm.
He's been taught manners, and he knows that he's not the person that knows the most here.
Yeah.
He's soaking things in like a sponge. He looks to be very smart.
Yeah, Renee's is. Are we on the road? We're on the road, right? So we're like
just south of
riding.
Florence.
Yeah. Okay. So I assume we've kind of dismounted to have this meeting and everything, and might have a tent or something like that. So Renee is seated, and he stands up when the bishop arrives and nods to Prince Pepin. He says, "I am Duke Rene Legree, and this is Prince Pepin, son of Charlemagne. This is Sir Samson of Verdun. We are emissaries of the king, Charlemagne. Come in peace, and lighten your load and sit with us a while."
Yeah, the tent setup, it's definitely very fanciful, very regal, befitting of a duke. The only two chairs probably in there would be for the prince, Charlemagne, and the duke, where Samson would be standing behind them, maybe just kind of appraising the bishop and any of the entourage that were allowed in. And yes, stand before the prince and the Duke Renier of Spoleto. My armsmen say you have these missives from the Pope regarding some sort of foul plan by the Byzantiums.
Indeed. I was handed this by Archbishop Theodulf. And he looks to Pepin, and Prince Pepin, and the bishop bows. "It is an honor to meet you. Here is a letter from the Pope. It was meant for Charlemagne, but you are his representative. And in that stead, it should be yours." And he kind of hands in the letter with his two hands, and then steps back.
Pepin, for his part, is adorned, as you see here now, pretty richly with robes of black and crimson with gold trim. He thumbs the letter, running his young hand over the seal of the Vatican, and then looks to the Duke and Sir Samson. "Well met, Your Holiness. I was not expecting to meet the emissaries of Rome so close to Florence. But God, it seems, has surprises for us ever in store. Shall I read this myself? Or would either of you like to do the honor?" And he, for his part, Pepin, is looking at you guys, trying to see if you can even read.
Yeah, Renier looks to Samson, looks back to him, is like, my prince, you may read it as you wish.
You may read it, or my chaplain Santino can read it aloud for everyone here. Whatever your wish is, my lord.
It is best that such news comes from the blood of King Charles himself. In that case, that responsibility falls to me. Prince Pepin of Pavia. He seems to be quite proud of his new title, and he undoes the seal and reads the letter. Let's see here. There we go. Show to players. And he reads aloud in a voice. To the illustrious and mighty King Charlemagne, may this missive find you in robust health and indomitable spirit, as befits the sovereign of the Franks and Lombards, protector of Christian folk. I write to you in a matter of grave urgency and profound import, bearing news that threatens the very fabric of our holy endeavor to preserve and sanctify the sovereignty of Christendom under the guidance of the Vicar of Christ on earth, our Holy Father, the Pope. It has come to pass that Acus II and the Duke of Benevento and Gregory II, the Duke of Naples, have, under the veil of secrecy, forged a pact of peace and mutual aid with the representatives of the Byzantine Empire. This alliance, crafted in the shadows and now brought to light, portends a shift of power that could well unsettle the precarious balance that has long governed our relationships with the East and with the Italian peninsula itself. Our Holy Father, in his infinite wisdom and foresight, perceives in this alliance a harbinger of ambition that may well extend beyond the mere desire for peace. There is a palpable fear within the hallowed halls of the Vatican that this accord signifies the first step in a concerted effort by Acus and Gregory to challenge the authority of the Papal States, perhaps even to encroach upon the lands and rights bestowed upon the Church by divine providence and royal decree. The Pope himself finds compelled to ask for aid, the aid of those true to the cross of Christ and the cause of righteousness. To this end he turns to you, O great Charlemagne, as a bulwark against the encroaching tides of ambition. His Holiness beseeches you to consider the gravity of this situation and lend your strength, wisdom, and leadership in our hour of need. It is his hope that through your intervention we may yet preserve the peace and stability of our lands, uphold the primacy of the papal authority, and safeguard the future of our holy cause. Let this message serve both as a missive of import and a clarion call to action. May God guide your judgment and fortify your resolve as you contemplate the course that lies before us. In humble service and with urgent plea, Archbishop Theodulf. Pepin slowly closes the envelope and hands it to Samson for inspection. And he looks to the bishop and to Sir Samson and Duke Renier and says, it is clear that the wishes of the Pope are written here. It is my instinct that their interests align with our own, but I do seek the counsel of those older and wiser than myself. Duke, Sir Samson, what say you?
It may be beneficial to my prince and his father the king if we consolidate all of the Italian peninsula, except the Vatican, of course, under King Charlemagne's rule, with noble houses that do serve him leally and faithfully. Anyone that would betray the king and yourself, the prince, needs to be dealt with.
Can you guys see this picture?
Yep.
It's just for reference. So.
Yeah, perfect.
I believe Duke Renier speaks the truth of it. It is important that not only we eliminate any threat to the kingdom of Charlemagne, but that of the Papal States as well. If the Duke of Spoleto and the Duke of Benevento, Duke of Benevento and Duke of Naples are allying together, then we must strike quickly before they're able to marshal their forces together, as well as the Byzantines. If they are unaware that we know of their plans, then we might be able to strike first.
With the Duchy of Benevento on my southern border, I would raise my arms immediately, my prince, if you so wish it.
I would wish it. So, as a little background, so this is a little bit earlier. This is from 740. So by the time of 778, basically the Byzantines had kind of held land up to about this midway here where I'm clicking. So the Benevento was much smaller, and Naples is here. This part is not filled in.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Byzantines were kind of like down in Sicily and southern Italy. And the deal is that, Naples and Benevento were, they were Christian. They were, paid homage to Rome. But by the same token, they were also descended from the Lombards of northern Italy. And so historically, they had always kind of resented Charlemagne. And even Acus, who was technically Duke, would sometimes call himself Prince as well, and kind of consider him, in the line of the Lombard kings. And in that way, kind of snub his nose at Charlemagne. And those duchies would kind of become, at this point, they were still fairly autonomous, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Pepin would, of course, defer to Renier and Samson as far as raising armies and military matters. He would look then to the bishop and says, "Very well. It sounds that you will have the aid that you request, and I will send word to Pavia as well. We still have some loyal to Charlemagne there, and they will be able to raise arms. But perhaps much can be done with the written word and the spoken word, and not with the sword. I myself, along with King Caedawalla," and he points to a litter, and Caedawalla is probably in the litter now because he's pretty sick. "We would like to proceed to Rome. We will meet with the Pope. Both myself and King Caedawalla would like to take baptism."
Very well. I can also send some of my fastest riders back to Francia to alert King Charlemagne of what is taking place here. It will take time to marshal the forces, but once they get here, we will outnumber them and defeat what remains.
Rene nods on his behalf, says, "I do believe it is a wise course of action. That way your father will know at the very least what is happening."
Anything else from the bishop or?
Yeah. So the bishop looks to the prince and he says, "When the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears and delivers them out of all their troubles. You are a wise prince. You will lead your people very well. And if you will have me, I will be by your side. For after all, you have heroes by your side already. Samson of Verdun and the Duke of Spoleto. Righteous men. We can speak to the Duke of Benevento, the Duke of Naples. Maybe they might take counsel from you, my prince. Maybe they might listen to the word of God. And if neither work, then steel and hammer and fist They are instruments of God as well.
Renier speaks up and says, My Lord Bishop, does Rome commit any warriors to this fight? I see that you have your own men. And he nods over to the helmed William.
I do have my small retinue, but with Prince Pepin by our side and agreeing to take these matters, maybe I can speak to the lords of Rome. Maybe they might spare us a regiment or two. I can see what I can do. After all, I'm a God's servant and I am doing God's work. Maybe that is all that is enough to convince them to give us the aid we need.
Well, then it looks as though I should return home and prepare. Samson, will you come with me and help me gather my forces?
Of course, I believe I will. And I don't know how, direct the route.
You can take the River Arno across Italy. I mean, it's not as far as you would think. So from Aachen to Rome, decent weather is, they said, 3 weeks to a month. Stopping and resupplying an entire army, that type of thing, would take about 2 months. So the distance across Italy with river travel would not be bad at all. A week, if that.
Well, I mean, Spoleto is pretty close to Rome, so...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
William would speak to the bishop in Saxon. Perhaps we should offer if they are to split off and
Florence is around here somewhere, I think.
Gather the army, that we should escort the prince to Rome.
Yeah, when he speaks in what Renier knows is Saxon, doesn't understand it, but he looks over to Samson and then back over to William.
Do you want to do a recognize?
I don't know that I would recognize him if he had a helm on, but I will roll.
You could give yourself a penalty since you just by voice.
Okay.
Like a 2 penalty.
Common skills, recognize. I don't know that I'm even good at this.
I gotta rub the Saxonism in Samson's face.
I did not see it. I did not get it.
No.
I don't know, Samson can try. Samson!
Is Samson going to try to recognize?
No. I would automatically fail. All he hears is that devil talk, that Saxon gutter trash voice. And even though it's been almost a year since William's death, he doesn't recognize it, especially when it's in a foreign tongue. And he just goes,
Zypher, did you hear what Samson asked the bishop?
Yeah. So the bishop says, indeed, yes, we can escort the prince back, take him to Rome.
You say that in Saxon, or you say that in something we can understand?
No, he would respond back in Saxon because William spoke to him in Saxon.
That would be good. This time he said it in Frankish. He didn't want the idea to seem like his. He wanted his the bishop, to get all the credit of anything, right? That's why he spoke to him in Saxon.
And then the bishop turns around and looks to both Renier and Samson, and then to the prince. We would be happy to escort you back to Rome, Prince Pepin. It
Renee
would be
says,
my
I
honor.
am sorry, my lord bishop, but I will not allow the prince to be escorted by a Saxon.
William would look at Renier. What is wrong with the Saxons? They fight as well as you.
They do not. We have done nothing but defeat them at every turn and defeat their strongest warriors. Quite pitiful, if I may say. He spits on the ground. There is nothing noble or brave about a Saxon warrior. They are pathetic excuses for soldiers.
Perhaps of the old, the new. They are good fighter. I trained most of them myself. I'd be happy to show you how we do it nowadays.
Bishop, why do you let this underling, this lesser, talk to us?
Samson, roll your hate Saxons.
Oh boy.
You might have to slap him, bitch, or something.
Yeah, this is gonna be...
Slap his helmet off.
I'll let that come up to roleplay, but
Fucking
Oh,
19.
he almost critted.
19.
Oh yeah. I will not listen to a Saxon talk to me. They are nothing. They are beneath me. Why are they even in this tent? You will leave my tent now before you taste my blade, you Saxon piece of shit. You! And he points to like one of his guards or something.
William might have to roll. See if he can keep it together.
What do you want me to roll here for them?
Forgiving or vengeful?
Gotcha. Let me see. He'll
Probably
try to be
vengeful.
forgiving, right? He'll try to be forgiving. He's in the presence of his, his new owner, right?
The bishop will look to John, and he'll say in Saxon, I will take care of this.
No.
Bow to the prince and leave the tent. And
And
then he will turn to both the Duke and Samson and stand in front of them and say, you have been treated with all cordiality. I have recognized your authority and I have recognized your valor. But it seems that you are lacking to do the same. I shall take your insolent behavior so far as the basic hatred toward the Saxon. But if you choose to besmirch my character and those I keep in company with, please note that your currency in a place like Rome is soon going to run out. The choice is yours, gentlemen. But
Well,
do not
you-
test me again.
You do. You lose your cool.
yes, William was speaking Saxon to the bishop after he does that. I do appreciate he's speaking in Saxon, so the others can't understand him. I do appreciate the thought there, the bishop. But, these Frankish, they are very good at having to defend their name. Perhaps some training blades we could show them. But it wouldn't be to the death, of course. There is some honor in everybody. And he kind of stopped speaking Saxon, he'll go back to Frankish. But perhaps that if they won't fight us with perhaps if you want to fight me with the blunted blade, perhaps we will move on and we'll just leave it at that. After all, I have no fear of this man and his spit.
Samson, I want you to roll love family.
Success.
So your retinue and people behind you. So get a check in love family. They don't like the Samson. They don't like them threatening you. You know, you're the leader of their house now. They're cheering you just to take the guy's head off at this point. And And now William just continues to basically spit at you, even despite the instructions of the bishop.
Bishop, you will have your slave leave before I have him drawn and quartered and pay you for another. Like...
Renee actually interjects as kind of besides the princes. Well, he asked you to fight him. Perhaps you should show him a lesson in godliness, Sir Samson.
If you want me to waste time with a slave, I will. We have more important things to do, like march on the enemies of the Pope and King Charlemagne. But if you want me to show this cur what it is, then I shall do it.
I'm sure it will not take long.
William would speak in Saxon again to the bishop. I do hope that I do not bring you displeasure, but perhaps they need to see the gift that you have brought to Rome.
Very well, John.
If you would, he'd look at them, look at the bishop. Perhaps if you would bless me during this fight, I could use the Lord's touch.
Oh my god!
It's perfect. William's too old though.
But perhaps the blessing from the Lord, and he's speaking in Saxon, would pass me by to show some of these Frankish are metal in a friendly boast.
Yep. And then the bishop turns to William. You will do just that. But remember, William, I'd asked you to leave the tent. And you and I will have words after, and all of this is in Saxon. Seems that you cannot follow orders just yet. But at the same time, these men have done question my integrity. Remember, God is with you. And through you, he shall tread his foes down. Remember, it is not you who have foes, it's God who has enemies. You are but his servant.
And of course, William would bow his head to him as he says it. So he's giving him a blessing?
So the way that works is he said the prayer. In order to receive his blessing as the bishop, you have to do a love God. Now, it's going to be a normal player, at least 5 minutes, so that's -1 for that. You're just in an ordinary place, so that's -1 for that. Is it Sunday? Or is it a regular day? I'm going to roll 1d7, and 1 is Sunday. 1d7. Nope, it's a regular day. So your love God is going to be at a -3 in order to receive the blessing.
Would William still have his relic with him? Was he buried with his relic?
I think that relic's gone, dude.
Samson stole it.
The real William, my son William, has it now.
Yeah, they probably would have taken it off of you. Yeah, you probably would have it, Samson.
All right, and does Zypher have to roll this, or is it me?
I think it's you.
You.
And of course,
a lot.
he hasn't been responding the last time I rolled these dice.
Now remember that if you fail to receive the blessing and you fail in the task, you're going to go into shock, which means you have to roll on the aging table. You're going to get melancholy and all this. Now,
So isn't he -5?
yeah, his penalty should have been a -3.
He missed.
Yeah, he's
I
still
would have
failed.
missed.
Christ Almighty!
I'm gonna impassion myself with my hatred of Saxons.
Oh, that's a perfect one to use.
And he crit fails!
Oh,
Yes!
God.
So we're both at
Oh.
-5.
And whoever loses this is going to go into shock, and then you're going to go into like have to be led around like a puppy dog by a woman.
Oh, I got my wife, so that's good.
Renee just says,
All right.
"Go outside."
What's this looking like? What's this looking like here?
So, Renier, or excuse me, Samson calls for, maybe one of his attendants or something to go get his armor and his shield and blunted swords.
Yeah, William, of course, would, as they approach the field of battle there, William, of course, would thank the bishop. He was not in Saxon now, he was speaking Frankish, right? He thank him for his blessing. And he looks at him. Yes, I do understand that we will have words later, but hopefully I will make you proud on this field.
Very well, John. Remember, God is on your side. Fight well, fight with honor.
Always.
Show
And,
them your strength and not your vanity. Remember, not your vanity.
and he will take his helmet off and kneel in front of the bishop, right? To finish the blessing there. And then quickly put his helmet back on and stretch out, crack his shoulders and stuff and get ready.
I mean, do we see that? I mean, that's a question.
It's up to you.
I mean, if he's doing it on the field that we're going to fight at, I don't see how I wouldn't see
I think we might see the back of his head, though.
Nah, maybe.
It wouldn't matter either way, right?
Wouldn't matter to
it wouldn't
us.
matter if I saw your face. Jesus Christ.
I'll just say I don't see it. I'll let you guys decide.
Roll the dice.
Well, here, I'll roll awareness. If I pass, I saw his face.
There you go.
Almost
There you
like
go.
you seen a ghost.
Yeah, he's gonna stick his sword into the ground and kind of almost stare in shock for a moment. He goes, Duke Renier, come here.
I see nothing but black.
Hang
scroll
on.
down.
It's fucking stupid.
Lasers are
one.
going.
God lasered you.
I got it.
God
Yeah, they
lasered
changed
you.
everything. They changed everything. It's
Renee stands up and he's like, "What? What is it?"
I do not believe it. Come, look, please. Tell me I am a madman. And he kind of
I would
walks
assume he
over.
put his helmet back on by the time.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Yeah.
fucking walking over to this
Yeah.
Saxon.
What the hell are you doing?
Look, and he doesn't even have a sword. He left it sticking in the ground. And he goes up to the bishop. You will call me a madman, but bishop, tell your man to take his helmet off.
Very
This is
well.
this
John,
isn't-
please take your helmet off.
This is an odd request for a test of strength, and he will doff his helmet again.
And Samson kind of stops dead in his
do
tracks.
you guys see now?
Yeah,
I've
feel
been able to
the
see.
way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see this Duke Renier? No? I am not seeing ghosts.
Is William deformed or anything like that from
He-
his head?
He'll have a scar on his face, right where the axe hit him. Probably a little bit of a gnarly one.
Yeah, Renee looks at William and then looks at Samson and looks back at William and looks at the bishop and looks back to Samson again. You told me he was dead. What the hell?
Where did you find this man, Bishop? Where did you find him?
Among the people of King Alfric. In where was that?
Saxony.
Saxony, right? Yeah. Among the Saxons.
When did you find him?
7 months ago.
This
He's been with me since then.
this is no John. This is Sir William. Sir William. And he knows where he got hit in the face, with that fucking axe. He's like, so that scar makes sense. And he goes, "Well, Sir William, how are you? I buried you. I built a cairn in your honor. How do you live?
William's gonna look at the bishop and look back at Samson there. Sir William, you might be mistaken, my friend.
He is not
No.
mistaken. You are certainly Sir William of Ardans, our long-time friend and companion.
You fought at the Battle of Squires with us. You fought with us across the continent. You fought with us on the Isle of Wight. You fought with us near Paris, in Saxony, in Italy, against the Lombards. How do you not know who you are?
He's a little dumbfounded looking. He'll speak to the bishop in Saxon again. I have no idea what's going on, my grace.
No, do not speak that dirty language. You are a Frankish knight. Speak in French.
Wait. What is the last thing you remember, William?
What do I remember? I remembered waking up in a village. I remember that getting raided. I remember being beaten, and then until they utilized me for fighting. And then I fought for their side against other tribes, against those who have raided the other towns. That is what I remember. I don't remember no Lombardy. I don't remember Squires. I do remember seeing this banner of the eagle. But
That is all you remember, waking up in their village?
So, from what I was told, they found me half dead, I guess.
You weren't half dead. I saw you die. I buried you. I mourned you. I named my child after you, Sir William. You were our companion for almost a decade. We fought against the Saxons. They tried to poison us. They tried to put some sort of curse or poison in our minds, and they attacked us.
Well, where did this happen at?
What was the name of that town? He just says it. He goes, it happened in the town of, blah, blah, blah. And they attacked us. There is a cairn in your honor there still. I made it with my own two hands. I had to break the news to Duke Renier of your passing. It was a great loss. We mourned you for a long time. I vowed to watch after your recently widow, Lady Giselinda.
And you see a twinge of like he's the name. What was that name again?
Gislinda.
Gislinda is a much more better name, not Giselinda. Giselinda.
I'll find her. She's in the
Lady
girls
Gislinda?
folder.
I do remember that name.
A very beautiful woman, a very chaste and pious woman, with long brown hair. You courted her for years, and you finally wed her. Only shortly after your wedding you were killed, or at least presumably killed by the Saxons.
Rene gets this kind of grin on his face and he says, William, I must ask you a question. This will prove your identity without a doubt. Have you laid with a woman in the last months since you remember, in your time in Saxony? I guess it is a no.
But I have.
This is not William.
See, now this man makes sense. Although everything sounds familiar, I think it's... I don't know. What you may call it, interpretation. It's making sense because it's you're saying it. And I don't remember much of my past. But... Look at the bishop. My grace, I am yours to the command. Shall we have this battle?
You are among friends, John, William of Ardennes. I am not known, Samson of Verdun and the Duke of Spoleto, to lie.
Now, what
You
reason
might
do
not
we have
remember.
to lie?
Indeed. If they think you're a Saxon, they would attack you and kill you. But he has not. Rather, he has come to you without bearing any arms. He speaks of your old valor. Why would he? You might not remember, but give it time.
Of course.
Or do you wish to be a slave amongst my other slaves? I think not.
He is no slave.
Indeed. These men speak for you, William. Let it stand.
He kind of looks back to them. Perhaps. I do trust in you, my grace. And stuff they do speak of, it does almost like a faint scent in the wind. It's almost like I've seen Charlemagne's eagle over the town before. It's like I've seen the black and red eagle before. The names sort of looting, but there.
I mean, our first adventure together, we slew a half-giant that almost killed me. You dragged me to safety.
And he kind of stops for a second, and that was, was there a knight involved, a mad one?
We were squires back then.
It does. Seems like a fever dream.
We were in Verdun. We were helping my kin escort them to safety.
Well, if the bishop trusts in your word, I am not one to argue with him. Perhaps I am this William. What did I do now? And he kind of puts so he doesn't stick it into the ground, but he sees it. Well, he doesn't even see it because it's a training blade, so he does stick it into the ground.
Regain
Why
your
don't you
old
give him-
life.
Somebody give that man a Frankish sword.
Yeah.
I'm still a little bit lost, so I guess regaining it would be quite a task.
Any
Oh
things
yeah,
to help
actually. Yeah. Okay. This is very princely. As that's all happening, you guys turn and you hear this little boy Pepin approaching on his horse, and he kind of goes up next to you guys and has been listening. And then after William sticks his training blade in the ground, Pepin takes his sword, like it's like a really well-made weapon, and throws it to you, William, and you catch it. And as you catch it, it's like the heavens open up. The heavens seem to open up, and the glory of God comes down from on high, and it is as if your memory, William, is restored. And the bishop seems to have a halo around his head, and all the retinues of both parties kind of fall down to the ground, prostrate and kneel. And a bathing light kind of surrounds you, William and Bishop. And the Bishop, you will grant the title of the Redeemer. And William, you will get the title of William the Deathless.
Yeah, and William, as he's holding the sword and all this is happening, he sees his friends, and you see tears start coming from his eyes. My friends. And he looks at the boy who tossed him the well-made sword, and I do thank you. And he looks around as the light, the babes, and everybody takes heed of what the miracle that happened. It has been a long time since I felt the warmth of the Lord and the warmth of my friends.
Yeah.
And he will turn the sword towards himself and with the handle first approach the Pepin there. I believe this is your sword.
He says to you, "It is not my sword, it now belongs to you, William the Deathless of Ardon."
And he kind of kneels down. I could not thank you enough. But I will offer my sword to you, of course. Whenever you call, I shall come. Whenever you need, I shall be there.
What shall you name it, Sir William?
He'll look at it. Good Lord, I got caught on the spot. And he'll look. Just Linda, after my love.
Renee groans. Ugh.
So that is, just as a consolation prize for running you out of blades and blasters, that's a +1 sword. All right, and you can mark that shit on your sheet.
Hateful.
That sounds a little spiteful. Does it make it? It sounds like there's a curse with the sword there.
Yeah.
Curse of
It's,
impotence.
It's
Every time
after
you use,
killing somebody with the blade, you become infinite for 1d6 weeks.
Jesus Christ. The sword shall never see blood.
William don't need it.
He's like, oh yeah, it's the sword. It's the sword's fault.
And with that, whenever you need a shield, you should be able to count on me. For I will never be able to repay the debt that you have just given me.
And again, it's like the heavens open and shine down upon the prince, and a cheer goes out from the retinue.
looks to everyone and he raises his hand and he says, "When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Blessings on you, William, for finding your way back to your brothers. Blessings on you, Prince Pepin, for taking back a lost soul. And blessings on you, Duke and Samson of Renier, for finding a lost friend. Our journey is starting with great portents, great portents."
All right, Bishop. Why don't you check eloquence for that role play?
Cool.
Is there anything else?
Renee walks over to William and Samson and throws his arms around both of them and says, "Tonight we drink. Tomorrow we will ride."
Here, here.
You guys gonna party in Florence tonight?
Yeah, with a grand old invite for the bishop to join him, since drinking is allowed. It's not a sin to be drunk.
He'll drink with the clergy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Samson's
Get him
gonna.
laid.
Yeah, Samson's gonna enjoy his night and drink away and take his wife to old Pound Town.
William, of course, during the course of drinking, will ask Samson why he buried him alive.
Bo, I'm gonna send you a whisper.
Yeah, you're not before. Yeah, you're not seducing any princess. Nice try. And Samson was born at night, not last night.
Samson pulling up the cock block.
Oh, fuck yes, he is. He ain't stupid.
So the first thing he says as everybody starts drinking, he'll look at you two. So how is just Linda?
Renee looks to Samson. You have not seen her in many years, or for at least before your passing. I do not know. I do believe she is being courted by another.
Courted by another, you say?
But you were dead. It is not me. Do not worry.
Do not. It was my brother. It was me. She stays at my castle in Arlon. She was mourning for some time, and I took it upon myself to see she was taken care of, as I knew that is what you would want. She is not married at this time. However, I could think of no other individual better to take care of her than my brother, Sir Baldwin, though they have not wed. She is currently, as I said, staying at my castle, but now that you are alive, she will be most happy to see that.
Ah, yes.
Perhaps during the... I do not want to bring up I do not want to bring this up, but I shall. Perhaps it is God's will that this marriage be ended, and that is why you have seemed to have died, so you can find someone more worthy of your marriage bed, my friend.
That is our friend being polite that he never agreed with your union with the Giselinda.
She is not good enough for you, my friend.
Ah, yes. You have said this many times before.
But now God has spoken. You had lost all your memory. You were dead and were reborn. Perhaps this is a new chapter in your life, my friend. To find someone much more suitable. Much with a larger heart of love for you, which you deserve.
And he'll look at Legree and smile. Perhaps you're right. But perhaps you're very wrong as well. For only time shall tell, I guess.
Well, I have been known to be wrong, but never about women.
He stops. I do remember a certain woman that you were wrong about.
Oh yes, I blame Samson.
It is fair to blame me.
Oh, well, perhaps I have forgot. I blame William for my injury on my head. Not as bad as yours, but you did hit me with your big pole.
Well, you're more like you just jammed your head into my big pole. You could have conceded that joust instead of laying in bed for a week.
I must at least attempt. I must try to act with honor sometimes. I am a knight of Charlemagne.
It is unknightly. It is dishonorable to not continue the joust, especially when he had the chance to win the championship. Of course, you could not have beaten him so badly, or perhaps aimed a little bit lower, but the bygones being bygones are.
Perhaps.
Go ahead.
If I would have aimed lower, it might have killed them.
It is all God's will.
It is. After all, you got your revenge at your wedding night by us almost dying after you were gonna get assassinated, but...
Oh yes, this is what I wished. I think that you were trying to take my head off because you were secretly in love with Ermeline.
I believe there's a lot that are in love with Ermeline. But,
one of many, my friend.
Well, I can say I'm proud that I did not take the line up behind the others to, how do you say it? Give her the old dog.
he just shrugs. He's like, eh.
That is why she is in a nunnery now, huh? Repenting for her wicked ways?
Yes, with my sister. I would not wish that on my worst enemy.
I bet you that the nunnery is a popular spot for people needing to be healed.
Yes, I'm sure it is. Anyway, my sister is still unwed. It's probably my fault, I suppose. She is a free spirit. Merwig, if you remember her.
It's been a while since I saw her, even years before I was buried alive. How is your sister?
Well, she is well. She's well. She lives in my castle in Francia. She, I believe that if you were to wish to perhaps ask the Pope to annul your wedding with Gislinda during these circumstances that has happened, I believe she would be a suitable wife for you.
But it's also a hasty decision. For there will always be a Pope. But I need not ask the Pope. I could always ask Charlemagne.
This is true.
Or we could keep it quiet between the three of us that Sir William is alive and wait for my brother to marry Giselinda.
Well, of course, would want to see it first before I make any decisions. See if that fire burns hot or not.
Did the fire ever burn hot, my friend?
So you said that you had lain with a woman. Is this true, or were you lying?
There is a bountiful of women in Saxony. They are a little more free-spirited than Ermeline, but she was a Christian.
Looks around. I will believe it when I see you get someone with child.
Well, perhaps sooner or later you'll see. But
Perhaps you should come. Oh yes, we are heading to Spoleto. I will introduce you to my wife, Elena Vieti, and my son Adamo.
more children.
True
Little
boy.
blessings they are. A true one.
Ah yes.
Well, you have yourself an heir.
I do. Samson and I were talking about at least marrying our bastards together so our families can become one. You need to hurry up and have a child. I'm sure I will have more, but so you can join us as well. For our generations, our families will be tied together.
Yes. That sounds like a plan. When I have heirs of my own, I think I could think of no better families to wed them with.
Well, I am a duke after all.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times now. That was quite surprising. How did you manage that one?
How else do you think? With my charm.
The unbeatable charm. I figured you did the same thing Assassin did and found someone old and decrepit it and just took her land.
Oh, no. I do not marry old women and wait for them to die in childbirth.
Speaking of women and childbirth, how is your slave? Has she borne you any children?
I have told you this many times, my friend. Perhaps you still have amnesia. I have never taken her to bed.
I still find that one hard to believe.
She is too ugly for me. He looks
And then
over to the bishop and says, "Have you lost your tongue, man? Come, join us in our revelry."
Yes, and he'll get the pitcher and fill up another round of ales. For the shepherd that had found the lost sheep, your drinks are free. And he'll give the bishop some ale there.
You
But-
muted X.
Occultic hero.
Got the hero.
Muted.
Oh, did you say ale or wine?
Could be wine.
So, and the bishop takes it and he looks at it and looks to William and the rest. God made the seed. God made the wine. But if men drink too much of this, they turn to swine. And he chugs it all down. And he kind of smiles and gives them a wink.
Not only a savior of lost sheep, but can hang with us any day of the night. Bishop, I have grown to like you more and more each time I see you. And kind of give him a little shoulder tap with his fist there.
It has indeed been an interesting journey, my friend. To see someone redeemed as you, as I live. God works in mysterious ways. I wish to see your story grow and see how it flourishes.
It seems you are the vessel of the god.
Yes. I am the vessel of the god, but tonight in this tavern, I am the vessel of wine.
Yes. It's funny how wine makes one feel so good, but so bad the next day. And William, of course, would slam his tankard as well. Perhaps another for everybody.
An excellent idea.
And William will pour more rounds for everybody as they catch up. So, Samson, have you had any new children?
Why, yes, I have 4 bastards with Lady Susanna of the Fields. They are all with me on this journey. And then my wife, Frith, gave birth to triplets just earlier this year. There's Sir William, named in your honor. My young Aylesworth, named after King Caedawalla's daughter. And lastly, Theodore, the miracle from God.
He is certainly a miracle. He is much more handsome than Samson.
Yes, it is quite lucky that he inherited his mother's good looks, Lady Chelfrith.
Renee's like, nudging him, nudging William.
Do tell, how is this child a miracle?
How rare is it for triplets to be born? It is usually too much for the mother to bear, and she dies in childbirth. But yet, my Lady Chelfrith managed to give birth to 3 healthy children, 2 boys and a girl. What a rarity it is, and a blessing no less.
It is a blessing. I go to sleep and I wake up and you are a prince of England now. In a way, I guess.
No. I am just someone lucky enough to marry a king's sister, and I am beholden to both King Charlemagne, and I need to repay my debt to King Caedawalla. Part of that reason is me helping him, escorting him to the Pope in Italy and Rome, so he may be baptized before his death.
Let me ask you a question, William. Which is better, the sister of a king or the daughter of a king?
The daughter, of course.
Of course, that is what I said. The daughter of the king is the best. Just so we understand each other.
Well, it puts your heirs in line for the throne.
Cypher's just clueless.
Well, they could if they were natural, well, you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
But he looks around and looks at the bishop and looks at Samson and kind of wiggles his eyebrows.
What he means is he is mocking me, for I had a choice between the king's sister and the king's daughter, and I chose the sister. I did it because not only is she a beautiful and wise woman beyond her years, but also because I knew the value of a princess, and I knew if I was going to marry Lady Chaelfrith, she would want her niece to have a secure marriage to ensure the continued existence of the Kingdom of Wessex.
Do you want to roll prudent, Tet?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, he wants to boast so badly.
Well, prudent or proud? Which you want? If you want to be proud.
I mean, hold on. Let me look.
But
At this.
no, it's because he's trying to restrain it.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? He wants to do it, but he's trying to be prudent, which is not to say shit.
Oh my god,
You know,
my
that's
prudence 5. Okay.
That's yes, exactly. That's why that makes more sense to do that.
Okay. Yeah. He just says, this is Bishop. Consider this a confession. You see, Samson is angry with me because I might have accidentally slept with the king's daughter.
William's eyes go wide. What? How do you accidentally sleep with the king's daughter?
Samson kind of angrily, you do not. That is the point.
So I take it that the miracle baby is Legree's here.
No, it is mine, because that is why Renier is not dead.
Renee just shrugs. I do not think I would be dead.
Those West Saxons up there in England do not play around with such lineage issues. Perhaps Samson is in the right. I've seen the Saxons firsthand.
This again. A man who does not even know the touch of a woman is telling me about lineage and babies and bloodlines. Pah!
Well, he has touched a woman. This is what he has said.
Allegedly.
Yes, I do agree. I think it is perhaps a lie.
Have you not heard anybody up in England there speak any Saxon?
I have not been to England. They speak Britain because it is the Isle of Britain. He obviously doesn't know.
The Britons, they're in Brittany as well.
Can you even read? How do you know this history?
Because it's all the history with the Saxons.
Oh, Jesus, the most Christ, excuse me, Father, the most unreliable group of people I've ever met in my life.
Well, they tell some nice stories about how they beat the Britons to take over the land.
They are good for two things, blasphemy and death. Why would you listen to them?
Well, it was either listen to him or get whipped. I've got whipped enough there. So I took to listening.
They fill your head with poison.
A story is a story. But it's quite interesting, if you ask me. I bet you if I spoke Saxon to your brother-in-law, he might understand it.
I doubt it very much. Did he speak Saxon when we were on the Isle of Wight? No.
Perhaps your reputation preceded you and he knew that you hated Saxons and he did not want to die that day.
Well, if Ealhswith is a Saxon, oh, the Saxons, they are winning my respect.
I told you their women are wild.
Your treatment of the dignity of a woman is beyond you.
I am, there's a lot of dignity. Samson, come on. Her father is almost dead. Let me comfort her one more time.
No. There is a reason I have her guarded heavily. I am no fool.
Well, I would like to meet the one that Legree is pining over.
No, You will not either. No one will.
Let me introduce William.
Again, no, you shall not.
Is she beautiful, Samson? Is she very?
Why are you? You should be more worried about the woman that you have still not touched in a year. That is who you should focus on.
I thought you would want to be to meet nude ones.
No, that is Renier. He has always hated her.
Yes, this is true. He's never liked her.
It's because she treated you so poorly, my friend. If you come back from the dead, then surely you deserve better. Certainly, I mean, she is beautiful, but what does it matter if you have to look at her from afar while she throws her nose up at you, as if you're not good enough?
Oh, the women are fickle. I do not attempt to guess the ways of them.
That is obvious.
No. Regardless, let us speak of Aesmith again.
Yes,
We
do
shall
tell her.
not.
How beautiful is she, Renier?
She is quite beautiful. But I do believe I like her even more because it displeases Samson so much. It is hard not to.
Samson looks at the bishop. Perhaps you should tell him of the ways of chastity, bishop, or prudence. The eyes of the Lord are always watching those that are sinning, huh?
Indeed, my dear Samson, the eyes of the Lord do watch those who sin. But if you confess your sins, then you are forgiven. And I shall take this entire conversation as all your confessions. And he clinks their glasses, gives them a wink, and starts continuing to drink. by
Well
himself.
then, the bishop needs to come with us everywhere so in the morning we can confess.
Again. Now you have convinced me to double a god.
I am a duke. I will send them away.
Well, the question is, how good are your gods?
There is enough of him to stop the Duke in his pointy spear.
I do not need a spear. I only need a wave of my hand. I am the duke. Excuse me. I wish to speak to the princess.
Unfortunate for me, for you, they have very specific instructions.
It is only one life we have. If I die, then I die. It would not be. It would not be a problem. No one would know.
You need to think of your wife here, and
But she is not
ensuring
here. She is in Spoleto.
people talk. You need to reinforce and solidify your claim on the duchy here in Italy.
I suppose you are right. But I might not see her again. I do believe she wants to
That
see
is
me
by
as well.
design, my friend. That is by design.
See, my curiosity is piqued. I do want to see
Oh,
what.
you have to go up there and help Beothric at some point. You'll see her again.
She might be 18 then. I'd lose interest.
She's 17 now. Yeah,
Well, I'm about to be
I
an
aged her a
adult.
year since she had the kid.
William will look at Samson. I am intrigued now. I'd like to meet the young lady that has
No.
Renier
It is settled.
dancing in
No.
a seat. Do you see how excited he is?
Do not make me give order to my armsmen to beat you in the head until you forget again.
Oh, you are being quite rude. We have found our good friend William, who has returned from the dead, and you won't even give him this one boon?
Rude, I am the one that is trying to protect you from yourself, while you are calling his wife a stupid bitch.
Yeah, that's my roleplay, the laughter.
5 glory apiece. 5 glory.
He does have He does have a point, Renier.
Well, I suppose he does. I never said that exactly.
It don't
She
take
is
much
not
to read your mind.
stupid.
Oh, well then.
Well, that's settled.
Ah, you tire me so, more so than any opponent on the battlefield.
This is how I won my duchy. I wear them down.
Yes, wear them down like your pants in the stables, that's for sure.
I have not been in the stables in some time. Let me tell you about the time Ermeline and Eliza shared a bed together and I got them pregnant on the same night.
And yet,
Oh, Lord, help me.
now let me ask you, did you ever share the bed with her and another man?
Of course not, that is disgusting.
That is true sin. How dare you?
Bishop, excommunicate him. At once.
Well, one's got to ask, because you know there had to been more. I just figured you might have known about it.
I did not.
Last I seen, wasn't Roland intrigued with her as well?
Roland? I think Roland, wasn't he one of your, Gislinda suitors?
What woman does not have Roland as a potential suitor? If they look good.
I have lost all knowledge of the Paladins, being in Italy.
Was Ogier a paladin?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, Ogier, unfortunately, was the only one to die, I believe.
Yes. And right before I was supposed to fight him. My glory was stolen from me.
No longer, my friend. Now we can set off from my duchy and we will destroy these traitors. And Benito.
But what about the prince there? Who's gonna make him escort him down to the Rome?
I suppose someone can. I must go home if we are to attack.
Yeah. And he kind of looks around. I have no resources here. My home is back in Francia. Perhaps I don't know. Me or Samson can escort the young prince. The other can go with you. Perhaps I could. Since you said what is that? The king and his daughter need to be blessed. That means she's traveling to Rome, eh?
We are going to Rome, and then we are heading east to Spoleto to rally Renier's forces. And I believe Prince Charlemagne and his entourage will be raising levies in Pavia, if I am not mistaken.
You look to your left, and Pepin's there, wasted on his 8th beer, and he says, "Yeah, no, I'm just kidding."
It's the Middle Ages.
You guys are tough to hang with.
Yeah. Introduce me to this princess, he says.
You have Pavia's sword. Oh yeah.
Well then, perhaps we shall retire. And he looks around. Unless any of these ladies around here that suits your fancy there, Renier.
I think not. My mind is elsewhere. On a beautiful raven-haired beauty from up north.
Or she has the raven hair.
Yes, it is my, perhaps it is what I like. I do not know. Of course, my wife has the black hair, being from Spoleto. She is a beauty as well, probably even more beautiful than Elswith, but it is the forbidden romance that I crave.
Can't do it.
forbidden why? Because she is a princess? Because she is so
Because
young?
Samson will not let me.
Because Samson will not let you.
It would be easy otherwise.
This is just going to devolve. I think we should end it tonight.
Yeah. This is how it goes for the next 4 hours
Alright.
of drinking.
So I think what we'll end it tonight, and then do like a high level Crusader Kings-ish thing about the political intrigue and potential battles and stuff with Benevento and Naples, and then move on to winter session to close the next ones.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, end recording. We're back, baby.